head to the dollar store and pick up an 8x10 canvas because we're going to make a quick patriotic craft. So this is not my first rodeo with making reverse canvases, but if you're not familiar with the process, you just I use a pen blade, but you can just use like a razor blade and please, very carefully, just cut away the canvas fabric off an artist canvas. I buy mine at Dollar Tree because they're the cheapest. And then you just start ripping away all that canvas. Sometimes it helps to use a pair of pliers. If you're really detail oriented, you can remove all the staples, but I find it's a lot of work, so I usually just leave mine in because the staple side is going to be on the back of your project anyway. So once you get that canvas removed, then you just take scissors and cut it down to size. I just trim right inside that like little fold, that ridge where the canvas was stretched over the wood frame. Lay it across the back. Okay, I have to trim just a little bit more until it's cut down to size. Then it's time to stain the wood frame. So now that front side is going to be the front of the new project. So the staples are on the back. It doesn't even matter. I just used Americana gel stain in oak because it's really easy to use. I don't have to go outside. There's no ventilation needed. And so I just use a little paintbrush and apply a quick coat all the way around the wooden frame. And then wipe away any excess with the paper towel. Easy peasy. And then I grabbed a dollar store wood bead garland, or you could just use wood beads if you have them, string them up. And I stained those as well. This was a little bit time consuming, making sure that I got like in all the nooks and crannies and all the way around the wood beads, but I think it's worth it. Set that aside to dry. And then it's time to reattach the canvas to the back of that frame with the staple side. So work very, very quickly and add hot glue all the way around the back of that wood frame. And then reattach the canvas. So you can either flip the frame over and set it on top of the canvas, or you can smooth the canvas right over the back of the frame, either way. And then Dollar Tree has these faux tin tile wall decals. I had some left over that had been painted white from a previous project that I did last week. So instead of using a whole tile, I just used some scraps left over, cut a little rectangle, and then used a pouncer brush with Midnight Navy Blue acrylic craft paint, and I painted that. And then to add just a little more texture, I cut a small piece off of a clean dish sponge, like seriously the tiniest piece, and then dab some white paint, very, very little paint, and then brush over just the raised parts of that tin tile piece. And then you're in business, and then you can hot glue that in the upper left-hand corner of your reverse canvas, and that's going to be the stars portion of the Stars and Stripes American flag. You could use anything you want, buttons, ribbon, the sky's the limit. I just really like these tin tile pieces lately. And then for the stripes, I started with some wooden craft sticks and used my miter shears to cut them down to size. These miter shears have been a lifesaver on these types of projects because I can cut at precise angles and I get really clean cuts this way, but you could also just use heavy duty craft scissors, whatever you've got. So just kind of dry fit these in place. Make sure that the craft sticks are cut to the length that you want and you have enough stripes, and then remove them, but keep them like in order, keep them in their right position and order, and transfer the wooden craft sticks to some scrap cardboard to paint. So just grab some red acrylic craft paint. This is primary red from DecoArt, and a dry brush so you don't put a ton of paint on the brush. This way you can leave some of that wood showing if it's not full coverage. And by doing such a thin coat, the paint dries really, really quickly. So then as soon as those dry, you can hot glue those right in place again. And this is why it's so important to keep them in order when you paint them, like when you transfer them to the surface where you're painting. That way, when you put everything back together again, you're not playing jigsaw puzzle. So then once I had all those popsicle sticks in place, it was time to add the white stripes. And for this, I found this like lace ribbon at Dollar Tree. You could use any type of ribbon you want. I just thought this was kind of fun. And so just hot glue that in place. And this is where I finally learned my lesson and started using these silicone fingertip protectors to prevent burns from hot glue guns, so I can preserve what's left of my fingerprints, right? So just cut the length of ribbon that you need and then add just a few dabs of hot glue. You don't want too much, especially because this is more lacy and it has holes and see-through, so you don't want a lot of hot glue poking through. Just a few dabs of hot glue and then press that in place. And then the final step is to hang this. You don't have to, but I just thought it would be more fun this way. And so I use these eye hooks. So measure about 2 inches from each edge of the picture frame on that top edge. Just make a little mark with a pencil. And then the key to hanging these eye hooks is take a little nail, so just like a 1-inch wall nail for hanging a picture. Hammer it in like 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch and then pull it out. And that makes a pilot hole. So then you can screw in that eye hook so much easier. And then repeat that process on the other end with the second eye hook. So just hammer that little pilot hole and then screw in the eye hook. And then take your stained wood beads on the little string that they came in on the garland from Dollar Tree and just string that through each of the eye hooks and secure it on both ends with a double knot. Easy peasy, and there you have like a cute little rustic American flag sign reverse canvas craft. I am super excited about how this craft turned out. I do hope you enjoyed this dollar store craft. Until next time, happy making.